waiting for the kookaburras. They're due.
Are they?
Mm. Not a bad evening, not too cold, but getting cool. Mm?
Yes.
Don't think I need anything else to eat after that hamburger.
No.
You did have chocolate.
Tiny little bar.
I'm going to have to go and get some top up. You might have to take charge.
Nobody's there anyway. Oh, Buddy's in there.
Oh, hello. Oop, I disturbed the chicken. My apologies. Come on, kookaburras. That's why I turned this on, so you could do a song. Just about time for the kookaburras.
It's about time for a coffee. Oh dear. Quite a clear picture of it.
What?
Quite a clear picture of it.
Yeah.
Surprised everybody one day.
This time of night, just as the sun is disappearing over the west and the birds gather, we hear the kookaburras. But tonight, that's the reason I turned. That's the reason I turned the. What?
Right, no, go to the left.
That's the right.
More.
That's
My
right.
left. No, left.
I'm glad you're not driving.
What? Right. That's it. That's up.
What do you want me to do?
That just looks like a good picture.
Yeah, I'm not going to hold it there all night. But the sun's going down, or gone down, and we should be hearing kookaburras. But just as I turn the camera on, as normal, they're not kookaburring.
Kookaburra.
No. They may. It may just be a matter of time before they start kookaburring. The sound of the Australian dusk is the kookaburra song.
It's probably light. What time is it?
Breaking Boit news. The Ministry for Horticulture at Boit says they are investigating awesome hooker for planticide. Stay tuned for more news at 9.
It's only like 5 o'clock in the morning.
Is it?
It's 5 o'clock.
But these people don't sleep.
It's 5 o'clock here. So it's 5 in the morning.
And about another half hour, we got my team playing my wife's team. And we were going to go, but I found out because it's the most popular match of the year,
Football, that is.
a derby, yeah. It's the Eagles versus Freo. And they're both West Australian teams, so a derby. The cheapest ticket that I could get would be $250 each. So we decided we won't be going and we'll be staying home watching it live on the television for free. $250 each.
Yeah.
We're going in about 2 weeks' time to a different game, and that's still about $120 each. 250 was
Not bad seats though.
yeah, but 250 was too much.
But you wouldn't have got the same seats that we're getting when we go, I don't think. Undercover slightly.
So sure it's undercover?
No.
So you're guessing.
Yes.
Right. Still good to go to a big game of sport. You get a chance to go to a big stadium and hear the roar of the crowd and the bones breaking on the field, which happens quite often in our game. So what's happened in the wonderful world of Boit?
I think you're too early for
We're
everyone.
half a day ahead of you, so we miss all the fun. I bet something is happening as normal. I don't know if I've got my chat on. Maybe. Actually, I wonder if Mel comes on, because we might surprise her tomorrow or the next day. What do you reckon? Go down to Mandurah.
We could have gone today.
Yeah, but the footy's on. She'll be watching the footy as well.
Hello, my little...
Hello, Awesome. I just announced the breaking news from Boit, the Ministry of Boit. The Ministry of Boit's Agriculture Department is investigating Awesome Hooker for planticide. More news at 9. Just kidding.
How you been, Awesome? 5 o'clock in the morning there, isn't it?
5 o'clock in the morning.
Just going to make a cotton.
You need a Salem. That's our sunset going down. The reason I started to hang it is that every night this week, the kookaburras have been singing their song at this time. But as sure as eggs, you stick a camera on and you expect to hear them? Probably not. Oh, she's brought out. Oh, do I need a shower? Here, Awesome.
For you to put your...
But has she seen it?
Yeah, I've sent it.
Oh, righto, you don't need to see it.
Yeah.
Right, it's going to get a bit rough at the moment because I'm going to pull you out of your casing. I know you're uncomfortable, guys. Just hang on. Hang on. Oh, what are you doing, Sage? What are you doing? Right. There we go. Cock-a-doodle vision. So what inspired in the 12 hours that we weren't there? Awesome. Someone won lottery? He said, she said? War of words? Probably. Same each day, isn't it? It's going to take you guys down the beach one day, but not during winter. It's too bloody cold. Oh, they've probably got an extradition order here if you land here or something. I'll hide you, no worries. I'll stick you next to the cock-a-doodle. Just stand very still and no one will know you're there. Well, there's a love triangle.
I thought you'd show the sky. That's why I brought that out for you.
Okay, let me guess. I'm showing you the sky. The love triangle will be between David Guns, Nicole Green, Awesome Hooker,
No, I meant,
and Skiwi. That's not really a triangle though, is it?
that you'd be able to put the stand and
Oh,
place it
okay,
with
okay.
the stone. And then you
Goodness,
can't
she's
see the
pushing.
shadow.
Oh, anything else you
No,
want
put
to do?
that on the cock.
Oh, dear. They will find you, Hooker. You can't escape the Federal Bureau of Plant Safety. Indeed. officials in the United Kingdom, Australia and Canada are on standby for an escaping planticide killer under the pseudonym name of Awesome Hooker. Plants around the country are closing their buds in protest. Hello Nick, I stuck this on so you could all hear the kookaburras, because for the last 4 nights they've been making a beautiful kookaburra sound, as they do for only about 40 to 50 seconds, and then they go to bed. But no birds, no kookaburras. I like you too. I will dye my hair and get plastic plants to cover my escape. Well, you don't kill plants, they die. So we'll just suggest it was suicide. Awesome. You did your best, you tried to talk them round. And when I tell you that I like you, yeah. And when I say I like you too, oh. I guess as myself a plant hospice worker. Yeah, a lot of those people work in those places also end up, taking the patients' lives. Nurse discovered killing the plants, but she should have been nurturing them. You read the stories. I think we're having a coffee, I'm not sure. Could be. Maybe. I'll show you something really uninteresting to most people, which will probably mean you guys as well. Look, grass. Got these about 4 or 5 weeks ago. Now, they are about 9 feet long, and they're solid. As you can tell, they're 4-inch timber, like a lattice, and they came off someone's front fence. If you can imagine a big limestone wall with pillars, and these were between them. I just wanted them because I know I can either put them at the front of the house as a border underneath where we're going to have the veranda, or when I build Awesome Hooker's plantatorium, I can put them all around there. Yeah, I know you'd be excited. Just put the kettle on, but hasn't done the dishes. Put the coffee in the cups. How you doing? Who cooked dinner? What? Who cooked dinner? Now you're lying. Now they know you're lying. Sorry, I haven't read anything. If you said something, I apologise. Yeah, they're beaut, those. Well, they're boarded lattice basically, but it's really thick lattice too. It's not like the flimsy lattice. So it's quite thick. They'll go as a good border around the pool somewhere, or maybe out the front. Like I say, they're going to come in handy. I got them all for $100. There's 7 of them, and they would normally cost about $200 each. So instead of $1,500, I spent $100. They've just got a bit of dust on them. And look.
Take off to do that.
We have coffee. Instant coffee. I know it would excite most of you Americans, but the English know what we're talking about. Nice cuppa out of a can. Hot water, stir, drink. Here comes one of our local Maggies. The local Mag boy. What did we throw out there? That old Nutrigrain, didn't we? Hello?
You got it.
Is this one of our talkers? We've got two that actually talk, believe it or not. That's all right, Nicole. I have a tattoo on my thingy. It says, would you like to know what it says? Okay, starts off like this. And it's just written laterally, okay? In the beginning, there was the sun and the moon. It goes on for about 6 verses.
God, you're exaggerating.
And then at the end, there's a full stop. Little period, if you be. Hello, Maggie. How are you? This Maggie is now an international celebrity, and he doesn't even know it.
What? That was mine. Oh, here.
Oh.
Jeez.
Oh.
Oh, shut up. People don't want to hear our domestic.
She stole my lighter.
Go away. And Nicole's honoured that you show her your cock. Well, actually, I've got to tell you, Nicole, it's my cock. Oh,
There he is.
it was given to me. But we'll let people think it's yours.
We actually had, twice we've had some really beautiful plants in that, seriously. Just comes up from the
I can't see the cock's head.
bit in the middle, and we had beautiful, forget what they were. They were,
You've got it zoomed in. I can't see the cock's head.
not that you're whinging much. There. Full frontal. What do you want, Maggie? Hello, Maggie. They come right up to us. Yeah, that's right.
I don't know how far he'll
Yeah.
come. Whoops. He says,
Pretty
where,
sure he's one of the talkers.
he said, where the hell did that go?
Over there.
It's behind the grass.
Get your laughing gear and wrap around that little bit of biscuit. There you go. He's good.
There he goes. Off he goes.
Mr. C, do you know how men are? They have to always claim that the biggest and the nicest cocks are theirs.
Yeah, I know. Awesome.
No?
I know.
You'll never hear me say that, Awesome. But I knew you would like it. Like me do, you know I like you. La 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 la, like me do, oh, like me do.
Oh, actually, you're up early, Awesome. Are ya?
She's fluctuating.
Oh. And it's, what, 5-7 hours earlier for Nicole.
7 hours back.
Yeah,
So
7
if
hours
it's
back.
6, what time is it here now?
I think it's 5:30. Yeah.
Ah, it's 10:30 there then.
In the morning. Yeah.
Oh, daylight saving. It could be 11:30, Nicole, because daylight saving. And how much the English want more sun? Of course, that's not true. That's what you're sold on. If we take daylight saving into account, we'll get an extra hour of sunlight. No, you won't. That's a lie.
Just the time changes, that's all.
We've had 2 inches of rain in the last 2 days, which doubles our yearly quota, which is good. Like all this green stuff, remember me showing your backyard, it was just dead. The soil's pretty good because when it does get a bit of rain, off she goes. And down the back there are some mandarines, which I'll show you in a couple of days.
That pile of grass there's the biggest.
That one's a nice bit of grass. Look at that.
So I said we need to go.
No, we're gonna get a D9 in here shortly, so all that doesn't matter. back on the subject that be. So we'll be holding a quiz next week. The quiz will involve a massive prize of first-class tickets to Australia from any part of the world. We will be providing the Uber to and from the airport. You'll have to organise your own tickets, of course, but just think of that, first-class tickets. All you've got to do is come up with about 15, 20 grand. That's all. Mere pittance on Boyd, let's be honest. And then we'll provide the Uber from the airport to here. It's what, $10?
Yeah.
So we'll be lashing out 20 Australian dollars. Unbelievable.
Well, you're not well, Awesome. You were in bed most of the day, were you?
A lot of people, and they get older, like me, I do snore from time to time. I have evidence of my wife snoring. The other night I did a little video. I've got it hidden in here. Not on, I haven't uploaded it or nothing. But we all have a bit of a snore.
I know.
But some people go beyond that and they have sleep apnea, which is two things. One, it's annoying for the rest of the household. And two, it's very dangerous. And a friend of mine, oh, he had terrible sleep apnea. Peter, he passed away a few years ago. Peter used to go away and do a bit of work with him.
Yeah, but he didn't pass away from his snoring.
No, he had a heart condition due to it. And eventually died from the heart condition. But something very serious. It's got to do with being. It's not a disease as such. It's a condition because they just stop breathing. I would often wake up with them going. I go, what the fuck was that?
Yeah, that's because they're trying to catch their breath.
And basically they're sucking in oxygen because they haven't been breathing for about 40, 50 seconds. So it's a condition that certainly if you ever come across it, don't muck about. Do something about it. Come on, kookaburras, do the right thing.
Not tonight.
Unbelievable. We give them the stage. Normally they're about there.
Double kidney and bladder infection apparently.
Oh shit, we don't take diuretics if you... That's where they normally are too. Right there on that branch, two kookaburras will come give me a song. But not tonight.
She was dehydrated.
Well, diuretics take fluid out of the body, so it's a bit of a win-lose situation taking diuretics.
Well, that's not good, Awesome. You want to pick you now. Yeah, you throw better than I do.
On it. Here you go, mate. Here you go. There it is. Bird up there. He's calling.
It's a magpie.
Yeah, he's calling the kookaburras. Oh, I missed what someone said.
Nicole said, not a Boyd millionaire, but I do have 3 shekels and a subscription to Korean Men Naked Monthly and a free add-on subscription to Asia Weekly. Cool, Nicole. Awesome said,
Yeah, you get your health sorted out, Awesome.
Awesome said, I'm a hot mess, need to really stop messing around. Yeah.
It's one thing that I've been guilty of, and you are definitely guilty of, Awesome, is that you care for everyone else.
Yes.
And sometimes what happens by doing that, you don't care for yourself. And you're actually no good helping anyone else if you can't help yourself first. It's not being selfish, it's being smart.
If I remember a couple of weeks ago, or actually before Tucker had his heart transplant, I said to Awesome, you need to take care of yourself.
Yep, you got to look after yourself first because you're no good to anyone else otherwise. Run yourself down. Hello, Lolis.
And then you won't be able to enjoy Seeds' golden knobs and his cock.
Yeah, your hubby's smart because it's in his best interest that you're in the best condition you can be in. We're all getting older. I mean, you must be nearly 30 now, Awesome. So you've really got to start looking after your health.
Oops, I spelled your name wrong. Sorry, Lewis. I put 2 A's instead of 2 I's.
I read it as Lawless.
Sorry. No, it's L-O-A-S.
Just turned 18 in May. Well, congratulations. But we sometimes put off things, don't we? Like, I'll just let it go. Okay, a couple of vitamin tablets, that'll do. When all you're doing is delaying the inevitable. You missed 30. Well, you went 29, 31. Fair enough. Age is just a number, by the way, but your mind will stay at the age of 30.
Yeah, 34, I say.
And it stays there. You've got to be conscious as you get older that you can't sort of run around the field like you used to and, you know, muck around all day, and because that doesn't happen anymore. When I get to a certain age, that's when I'm going to get nipped and tucked. Yep, you should definitely do something about that top lip, Nick. That'll stop your lisping when you talk. I don't mind how to lisp, it was so funny. Actually, he would do a lot of spoonerism in his talk. Not by meaning to, he just would. But he had, what was his one he couldn't say? R, I think. I think he used W instead of R, though. Richard Richardson, he would say Richard Richardson. Just couldn't say R.
Doctor said that if I don't start listening to him, he will stop treating me. Well, yes. Don't need to feel like that.
Stop.
There he is.
Can you hear him? Damn it. Just want to point it into the sky. They stopped kookaburring. They did kookaburra, okay?
They're actually over there in that tree.
In that big tree.
Hear it. Yeah, they're right in that big tree over there. It's not that you're an idiot. It's just like we said. You feel or think you can do things younger than what your age actually is, and some people can. And you just care for everybody else too much.
Yeah, I'm good, yeah. They were in that big old tree over there tonight, that one. Whereas they're normally there.
Yeah. Sometimes they come.
One of the things we all do, and you will all agree with me, is that you won't see someone for 8, 9, 10 years. And then they walk up and you embrace and say, oh, here you go. And then you look at them and think, shit, they look old. And of course, they're looking back at you. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
you don't think of you just think, why is everything changing?
We all age differently for different reasons that we've done in our lives. My mistake was too much sun when I lived up north in a mining town. We're talking about 50 degrees heat. Town was so small you walked everywhere. Was a bit lazy putting sun cream on, would go to the pool with the kids, would make sure they were covered, you know, rashes, sun cream, but never worried about myself. Because that's caused wrinkles now.
Well, I worked in the sun all my life with no sun cream. 40, 45 degree hurt, shirt down to my waist, muscles rippling, you know what I mean? I'm just setting a picture. Black as you can imagine. My skin used to go so dark. And I don't think I ever peeled other than working in extreme heat, the top of my ears and the bottom part of my lip and the top part of my nose. But that was in 50 degree heat. So I was ignorant. I always make sure all the kids are covered up.
Yeah,
and
we
grandkids.
did, but ourselves.
But I never thought about it at the time.
No.
Spend all day out in the sun.
But Nicole, you do look younger than you are, so accept it as a compliment.
What's that? What's she saying?
Everyone says she looks younger.
Is that because she wears a school uniform and a loose tie and a red lippy?
And you know what, I'm picturing her like that with her hair and pigtails. Oh my God, you look so cute, Nicole. I have a good imagination.
Yeah, she'll be singing the Cyndi Lauper song. Girls just wanna have fun, 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 wanna have fun.
She's going to come on screen one day with her hair in pigtails and red lipstick on. I can
Okay.
picture it.
Doesn't bother me.
No, don't you wear red lipstick. Wear another colour.
Wear what you bloody like. I remember when I was probably about 30, the Goths moved in. You know, it was a big, I don't know if Nicole would remember, 1980s, late 70s, early 80s, the goth movement. Black lipstick, black eyeshadow, everything was black. Black clothing, black boots, and they walked around like zombies. And they never talked. You must have seen these people. You know what I mean, Nicole? Usually the one piercing in the nose, normally, and just a total neglect of conversation. They definitely don't sound like kookaburras, they're dogs. Fashion is such a fickle thing. You know, people will tend to, in these modern times, someone on Instagram apparently put something up, and then before you know it, millions of teenage girls are doing the same thing. Yeah, during summer we get 17, 18 UV rating. And seriously, I mean, our kids have grown up in this country, so they're not affected, but you bring, say, lily white English girls and boys over here in the middle of summer, I'll be saying, they're not going outside. You stay inside till it gets dark. Because they just burn like you wouldn't believe. Is it sundown? Yeah, the sun's been down for a good hour, I think. That's just the remnants of the light. That's all that's left. Looks spectacular, but it's not as shiny as that in real life. And it's not as clear as that. It's getting a bit darker actually, but it's where the sun goes down now. It's starting to move this way. Each night's getting further away. And then in the middle of summer, it'll be way over there. It'll be going down there. But even on a bad, coldest, darkest day where I live, there's about 11 hours of sunlight. So it doesn't really compare to some people in the Northern Hemisphere. Yeah, but Dream, you're 2 hours ahead of us. Oh, Struth, she says. Bugger. We have glorious late summer nights here. You know, 9 o'clock at night, it's like this. And you'll be in the pool, swim up to the bar in the pool. I'm just imagining for a moment, of course. Have another drink.
Dawson and Nicole still in there? Tell them I sent them a picture.
Have a wonderful lunch, Nicole. I'm sure there'll be some stir-fried tofu or something on the menu.
I sent you a
Grab a
picture.
pie.
I sent you a picture,
Grab a
Nicole.
pie. Or a pasty. Son-in-law is Spanish. Yeah, even the Spanish, the sun there is different than here. Even though they have beautiful days in Spain, they don't get the UV rating like we do here. You would have seen, if you watched any news last week, in India they had really hot days, about 2-3 days of really hot. Thousands of people died. But there was video of ladies crossing the road with their flip-flops on their feet, and they were getting stuck in the tar. That happens here. In the middle of summer, if you went on the main road and pressed down with your foot, you'd leave a dent in the tar because it's melting. You'll often see cars pull over after a really hot week, and they're all at the car wash because they've got all these black tar sprays all over their cars. So it gets hot enough to melt bitumen here. You could fry food on the road. I used to go way up north for work, and I used to leave a cast iron pan. Hello, Buttercup. Cast iron pan out in the mornings in the sun, and we'd face it towards the sun. Lunchtime we come back, we just throw bacon, eggs into the pan, and they'd sizzle like you had a fire underneath it. And we can make bacon and egg sandwiches by not even lighting a fire. So it gets that hot. So like I say, people do, look, come to Australia, it is beautiful. All jokes aside, you're not going to get eaten. Well, maybe not. And you won't die from heat exhaustion. Well, maybe not. But it's a beautiful country. We're a huge country of diversity. At any given time, right now, it's snowing somewhere. There's a bushfire happening. There's a flood. We've got it all. But our oceans are absolutely magnificent.
Where's Tuwazi at? Where is? Oh no, he's Bathurst.
He's up near Katoomba,
Yeah,
up in the mountains.
When he did that live stream, it was dark there already. It was 3:30 here, and it was already dark there.
Yeah, but the clouds come in on the mountains pretty much sometimes and it closes
Because
down.
Dream just was saying before I read that it was. What I read that
Yeah,
was
but
dark.
she's in Queensland.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's different in Queensland too. You get a lot of humidity, Dream. I've been up that way many, many times, and it's not like our heat. We get very dry heat here during summer. You can be like 30 degrees and stinking hot because it's the humidity. In Australia, 30 degrees can be cool if there's a wind blowing. This is the difference because it's like 8% humidity, not 88 like in Queensland. Mum's an Aussie now, loves the heat. It depends where she lives. Like I say, the heat in our big cities is sometimes unbearable. Melbourne and Sydney gets stinking hot, mainly because of all the concrete, I'll be honest with you, and all the people. But when you live on the ocean, you get about a 4 or 5 degree cooler. We get that here. We get a sea breeze. In summer, it'll go down from 40 down to 30 in an instant with the ocean breeze coming in. You don't get it, well, it's going to be 100 degrees at midnight. But our days are getting slightly longer because we're past the equinox. And in the northern hemisphere, they're getting slightly shorter. But there's an ebb effect with the sun. In other words, it's the Earth mass, the heat on the planet. It takes a while to dissipate. So even if it gets cooler, wetter in the northern hemisphere, the land's still hot. You get cloud in overnight, well, it stays quite warm. It's like a blanket. Yeah, it is. Yeah, Brisbane, I've been a few times. A few times in Brisbane, it's very sticky. You go further north, it's a bit more different though. Like you go to Mackay, or you get up to Cairns. Been to Cairns a few times. Very touristy Cairns now. Very touristy. Geez, as Joe Bialki would say, what have they done to the place?
Yeah.
But I've got my first warning of low battery, so do you want me to... Oh, you want me to use that?
Well, you forgot to plug your one into charger. Just put it on the charger now. What's mine on? The Alpha
It's
one
just
for
on
me.
normally?
You don't have to do anything with mine.
Okay.
Just plug it in. Unless your phone plays up.
So what are people doing today? Nicole's going out for lunch. We've had our burger. Man, it was good. The room falls to silence as the hard-heeled step of a sharp-dressed man walks in. He looks left and he looks right and says, "Yeah, I'm here." Yeah, they were a good burger. Haven't had a Vati cheese for a while, have we?
No.
That was nice. Bit of lettuce, bit of tomato. Yep, I bet Harvey Bay. It's funny, people that don't know how to say it will say Hervey. Have you been to Hervey Bay? No, no such place. It's Harvey Bay. But don't you spell Harvey H-A-R? You do. But it's like Derby and Derby and tomato and tomato, potato and potato. Big game tonight, JP. Hope you're going to be watching it somehow on some device. The Western Derby starts in about 10 minutes, so I'll be going. It's Fremantle versus West Coast. It's going to be a big game. I predict, and because I'm an Eagles supporter, you might think, oh, you're only saying that because of that. Freo played awful last week, absolutely shocking, and the Eagles played about a good half a footy. I expect the Eagles to murder Fremantle. I mean it. I think they'll murder them. I think if the Eagles get fired up and play at least 3/4 of footy, Fremantle were just awful last week. And they've 2 defeats in a row. Did you make that Old Bay seat? No, I went and looked at all the ingredients, and I can get most of them.
We
But-
couldn't get some of them.
There were some I'd have to order. By the time I would have made the spice, I might as well just buy the damn thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because we looked at the price.
JP's rooting for the Eagles. On you, mate.
Oh, that's it. Take JP's wrench off him, so I can time him out for 300 seconds. Awesome. We looked in. We've always got to go to a different shop to get certain ingredients. So Seeds looked whether to
Yeah.
order it already made was cheaper than for us to actually make it.
Yeah.
Even though it would be coming from overseas.
I know it might sound silly, but just looking at the ingredients, I can imagine what it tastes like. For me, it would be a good rub to go in a smoker. It would be good something to put just straight over fresh chicken cooked. That's how I read the ingredients.
I mean, if we get all the ingredients one day, you will make it.
Yeah.
It's just it takes us a while to find stuff, but
Well, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. If I get enough of it, I'll actually package it and sell the bloody stuff. Because no one really has it here.
no, that's right.
So, and there's got to be plenty of expat Americans that would be saying, oh, geez, I'll have some of that. I certainly will buy, if I ended up selling the stuff, I would buy the Ridgy-Didge stuff and taste test, see what I make. And if it's pretty spot on, well, I might sell it. Because it's very expensive to get here. Something like a 4 ounce of Old Bay to buy, say, through eBay. Postage is the killer from the US. Something like $9, and then you've got to pay $27 shipping.
Yeah, but we're going.
So about, in Australian money, it's getting close to $50 for 4 ounces. Hence why I'm not really keen on buying it.
I mean,
But you guys don't have what we call barbecue sauce. JP's been around the globe, he'll back me up. No one has barbecue sauce in other parts of the world. We've tried them all. We've even come across things that say barbecue sauce, and it tastes nothing like ours. But you can't get barbecue sauce in the UK. You can get brown sauce, which is bloody awful. It's just shocking.
yeah, that's what Seeds will probably do, only because
I'll get it pretty spot on.
you can't get. some
I'll
of
actually
the
send a
stuff,
little
yeah.
little packet to you after I've finished. But it won't be till we finish the house. We're getting a built-in pantry, so I'll have plenty of room for all my herbs and spices. No, I have tomato sauce, JP.
Okay, JP, I like barbecue sauce on everything. Well, not on everything. Barbecue sauce. What's it? I'd have to go and read ours.
Well, it's brown sugar, it's vinegar,
It has got tomatoes in it.
tomato sauce goes in there, but it's the process of making it, and there's a
Yeah.
few extra herbs and spices.
HP, yeah.
Yeah, no, I've had HP for years and I haven't noticed the difference, Buttercup. I love it as an extra ingredient for layering flavours into like Those spare ribs I did recently, I put Worcestershire, HP. Man, I tell you what, the gravy was just unbelievable, wasn't it?
So yeah,
Onion gravy with all that in it. My goodness.
we've got a smoky barbecue sauce and then a normal barbecue sauce. Now, our smoky barbecue sauce, I don't like that.
See what Johnny, right?
He's being smart to me.
Yeah. You like Freo and you have barbecue sauce. It's over.
Oh, Johnny, take his wrench. I'm going to time him out.
No, I might give him a gold wrench now. He's not. He's a Eagles man.
I told you why.
Sydney won a good game. They got beaten, JP. What happened there? Essendon. We won't talk about that. That's a game they had to win, Sydney. Yeah, but it's different. It's like we call tomato ketchup. We don't call it ketchup.
Well, but we get
We
ketchup.
call, yeah, but we still call it tomato sauce.
Yeah, but it does taste different. Ketchup tastes different to tomato sauce. You've been buying ketchup more lately.
Yeah, you do. I reckon you're 3 years away from a premiership myself, JP. Said that at the start of the year when I watched a few of their games. I thought, yeah, they've got it. They just haven't got it yet.
Who's that?
Sydney. They've just about wheedled out all the old legs and are producing some good stock. But I doubt they'll get anywhere near the top this year.
Yes, yeah, because the Seeds buys ketchup now more so than your tomato sauce because it does taste different.
Yeah. Ketchup's thicker. Tomato sauce is not as thick.
Did you say hello to Kelly? Kelly Kel?
No, I didn't see it. Hello, Kelly.
Seeds doesn't see the chat all the time.
Because I got a little camera but a big cock. No, I'm just kidding.
Exaggerate.
Loving your cooking, I put in a request. What would you like, Kelly? What's going on with the Becca nonsense? I don't know.
Oh, pan ham soup.
I'll tell you what, if you just do the following, Kelly, if you type in YouTube search bar, pea and ham soup, and then my channel name, Seeds to Freedom. I think it's got thousands of hits on it. It's the easiest basic you'll ever see, and it is yum.
Yeah,
I've probably got about 3 videos, but if Kelly types in pea and ham soup, Seeds to Freedom, it'll come up straight away. But I've made it, oh geez, I don't know how many times I've made it, hundreds of times. It is a family favourite.
yeah,
The recipe goes back to my grandmother's grandmother.
yeah, he's got about 3 of them on his channel, Kelly.
So it dates about
Can't you
1750s.
just type in there and she can click on your name and then she can search
No,
channel?
all she's got to do is in YouTube search
Alright,
pea and
she'll
ham
do
soup
that.
and Seeds to Freedom, and it'll come up.
It's nice on
I think one of them
cold
says
day.
200-year-old recipe.
Yeah.
It's actually older than that, but 1750, what would that make it? 250, 270 years.
Bacon chop. Dream.
I don't know how many hits are on that one, Kelly, but there's a few. Bacon jock? What's that? Is that the crotch of a chicken?
Dream. You're so cute.
I want you to smoke my chicken crotch.
Bacon.
I don't like, I never have liked smoked chicken bones. For one reason, there's little tiny bones. Sorry, not chicken, ham bones. There's little bones within the cavity of the ham bones that sometimes get through the process, and you'll take a mouthful of soup. And it's different than using a ham hock. Scottish bacon's nice. I like it's thicker than Aussie bacon. But yeah, pea and ham's got to be made with a ham hock. And I basically boil it to death for, well, I simmer it, 2.5 hours. And then I take the skin off. You can use the skin, you can fry it later when it cools down for crackling. But then I just take most of the meat off the bone, then I put the bone and the meat back in. Oh, they were unbelievable. They're the best I've ever made, those ribs. They just melt in your mouth.
No, Green,
I don't mind ox tongue.
I
When I
don't.
was a kid, I used to eat all that stuff.
Yeah, Mum used to make that. I don't like ox tongue.
As a kid, I honestly didn't see a lot of meat. We'd have lots of gruel, if you like. There'd be something on the back burner cooking, and my grandmother and mother would throw in just any old veg, bones, fish bones,
Yeah, yeah,
sheep bone, anything would go in there, and it'd be a broth, and then they'd throw another handful of pearl barley in there. This thing would go on for months. So you get a bowl of, I can't even describe it as gruel, and it would be liquidy but tasty, and the pearl barley made the difference between not having the meat.
Yes, I'm with you, Kelly.
Sheep's brains, yep, that was very common.
I'm
Liver,
with you.
kidneys.
Any offal. My parents, when they first moved to Australia, Mum just pointed at the butcher because she couldn't really speak English. Came from Germany, and she knew all the cuts, but just pointed because she didn't know the English word.
Yeah, black pudding is an acquired taste. I like it fried. I don't have it a lot of the year. Maybe once a year I'll eat it. But I always say try something, and because people will generally look at food and go, oh, I don't like that. I'm thinking, well, you can't really say that. You've got to try it. And then when you try it and you still don't like it, that's fine. You can't make a qualified decision based on, I don't like the look of that, so I won't like it. I don't like anchovies. Yep, like pudding. They're all fairly common in the UK still.
No, I don't like anchovy. It's one time I will use the word
We used to have,
hate. I hate
Kelly would know
anchovy.
what I'm talking about. We used to have lamb, sweetbread. It's a gland of a lamb. And I used to eat that when I used to work in an abattoir. We always had to have a knife sterilizer, which is where your stainless steel knife went in there next to the sharpener and it'd be boiling away. And then you just throw a few of the sweetbread in there and a bit of salt and away you go. It's only going to get thrown out anyway. Like I say, as a kid, I would have eaten all of that stuff. Most of the time, wouldn't know known about it, but now that I'm older and I decide not to eat it, it's because I choose other food. That's all. If I had to eat it, I would.
That's true, Lou. They did. They used whatever they could get back in the Depression and the war.
Ox tongue just falls apart. You got to take the membrane off after it's cooked, but it just falls apart. Looks like steak, little chunks of steak. But I'm of the era where even to this day, I don't have things I throw out with food. I'll plan even when I'm cooking that I'll turn the leftovers into something else. It's like too much spaghetti in spaghetti bog. Well, you can throw the spaghetti into a pan, heat it a little bit, put 4 or 5 eggs over the top, a little bit of herbs, bit of spices, maybe a couple of leftover bits of ham chopped up, thrown in. But before you know it, you've got this nice, firm, crispy spaghetti, eggy, and it's a meal. And you haven't thrown it out. There's no need to throw food out if you think in advance. I don't let chicken stay in the fridge more than 2 days. If I cook it today, it can stay and we can eat a bit of it tomorrow, but the 3rd day I won't keep it. Unless I pull all the meat off the bone and then I'll freeze it in bags. And then I'll use it whenever I want to.
A fish one day. That's it.
Yep.
Not at all, actually.
You're more likely to get salmonella from chicken and fish left in the fridge for more than 3 days. Don't ask me, ask Louis Pasteur. He'll tell you. But wastage, I don't like. Like when I cook potatoes, you may see me sometimes cook like 4 or 5 pound of potatoes. And the reason why I've done it is that the eyes are starting to come alive. Still a good potato. And a lot of people just chuck them out. I don't. I boil them all up. We'll have a meal of something with those potatoes that night. And then I might have 7 or 8 leftover boiled. You know, they're already cooked. In the fridge, pull them out, cut them into slices, put a bit of olive oil and butter in a fry pan. Best chips you'll ever have in your life. Yeah, I don't like rice the second time round, to be honest. I'll boil rice, leave it overnight, and then make the rest of the ingredients for stir-fried rice.
I know, but
That's fine, but we'll eat it all.
I suppose it affects everyone differently because I grew up like leftovers, and Mum would reheat the leftovers, including rice. I'm 56 years old.
Good night, JP. It's time for the footy. You're right. You've just reminded me.
See you, JP.
We have 5 minutes left, or I can leave and you can keep going.
I've got videos to do.
It's on. Eagles by 11 goals, JP. There's a big prediction for you.
All right, I'll say Fremantle win by 8 goals.
Don't bet anyone, will you? Seriously.
Yeah. But with the rice, I mean, I've kept rice and heated it up in the microwave the next day, or fried it up, made fried rice the next day with it.
Off to watch soup. Good on you, mate. All right, Kelly. Nice meeting you.
See you, Kelly.
I'll just have one last customer, Jenny.
Watson's probably going to get Brekkie, and then she might
Watson's fallen asleep.
open up.
Is that what she said?
I don't know, I'm just, at 6 o'clock she might go and do Brekkie, and then maybe she'll open a room.
But pan ham soup is always better the next day. After I've cooked it, we've had 1 or 2 bowls, and there's a heap left over. You put it in a container, put it in the fridge. You can turn it upside down the next day, because all the gelatin has set. You virtually, it's so solid. No, I'm with you, Hooker. And I'm sure you do the same thing. You'll plan ahead. You'll be thinking, well, the leftover spuds and carrots, yeah.
Dream asked if you are NRL.
No. I played rugby union as a boy, but I played AFL as a man.
Yeah, leftovers is something I grew up with, Awesome. Yeah, you just don't, you can always do something with something. You either freeze them or you use them the next day.
Yeah, no, I used to play. I was actually, believe it or not, Dream, in the first 500 squad for the Eagles. That's right, they had country, city teams. They all picked out certain players. We went through the routine. So I trained for 3 months, and then they said, I'm not good enough. And I said, okay, I can wear that.
But it's true, stews and curries taste better. And Awesome, what is a sausage pate? Is that like you make it sausage mince into a hamburger, is it? Because Awesome had French toast and sausage pates for breakfast.
I'll tell you what is nice, and I don't mind doing it. You get a good sausage, not a supermarket sausage, a beef sausage or a pork sausage from the butcher, and you cut the skin off. So you've just got the sausage meat inside, and then you join it together, and you put it in the fry pan and you cook that half first, then you turn it over, and then you crack an egg in the middle. Believe me, it's yum. Bit of black pepper, a bit of salt, turn the heat down a little bit, because you're going to need a good 5 minutes to finish off the egg to whatever you like, but try that one time. Open the casing of a sausage, put it together like a ring, cook one side, turn it over, reduce the heat, crack an egg in it. That is yum. It's a sausage egg McMuffin, if I've ever heard of one. Sausage in small rounds, not as big as a hamburger. Yeah, they're a bit smaller.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But you can, if you want to make them a bit bigger, you just roll it out a little bit. But our sausages are a good 5 or 6 inches long. I'm talking about sausages. And so it's pretty big by the time you, because they're quite thick too. I don't like boasting, but our sausages are quite thick in Australia. And yeah, and then you put the egg in after you've cooked the one side. It's one of those things you can turn the heat down really low and just let the eggs finish off. Put a lid on if you wanted to. Well, I don't, I just leave it open, but turn it down real low. But that is awesome, really is. Sausage with egg. I think I could live, if I had to, on sausage, egg and chips.
Bacon.
Throw in the bacon as well, but you know, a couple of nice sausages, some chips, and a couple of googie eggs running on top. Yum. Sausages are micropeans. I have no idea what that meant, unless you meant, are they European? I'm not sure. Dumplings, yum, I love dumplings. You can do dumplings so many ways. I know when my grandmother ran out of this or ran out of that, she just used something else to make dumplings. Yeah, beans in Australia, if you talked about beans in Australia, most people would think you'd be talking about baked beans out of a tin. Australians, by nature, don't eat a lot of red kidney or black beans. We do. We like making up a salad. We put a mixture of 4 or 5 different beans, some chopped up red onion, a little bit of vinegar you use, don't you?
Yeah.
And
I don't really like it with the cashews
Ca-
added in.
yeah, I don't mind it with cashews.
See, I don't.
That's a good protein boost for you. Awesome. 4 or 5 bean mix with a few cashews thrown in. Yeah, I know sausages aren't big. You've got to get to Bratwurst basically in the US to get a decent bloody sausage. For some reason, I mean, we'll film it one day. We'll show them the sausage aisle. There's more sausages than you can imagine in every supermarket, and every butcher's the same. Nah, I often get the big sausage we get here, and I'll twist them into 3 little links, because when the grandkids come over, they always like the little sausage. They'll always say to me, I don't like the big sausages. I go,
It's
all
the
right.
same
And then
one.
I twist it around so there's 3 little sausages, and they say, I don't like the big sausages, but these little ones are magnificent. It's really strange. I've had apple apricot beef sausages. They were yum. Actually, no, they were pork sausages. But you can infuse sausages with whatever you like. Well, I don't think we're too far away from awesome opening up a hangout. Hope you all have a wonderful day. We're going to go and watch the footy because my wife's team is playing my team. And I know my team's going to crush hers to within an inch of their lives because they played so badly last week. Anyway, have a great day, everyone. Do you want to say goodbye to everyone? Let me just make it a bit smaller because I virtually did a photograph of your nose then. So,
Oh, thanks.
say goodbye, everyone.
Bye-bye. Love yous. Love the L word. Love, love, love.
And it's a very good like from me. Have a great day. Even if it looks like it's going to be shitty, there'll be a little bit of a bright bit in the middle somewhere or at the end. Just remember, you make it how you want it. See you later. I like you. Good night.